What's up everyone, it's your boy Ailurus, and we're back at it again on r/AmITheA, and I have 5 crazy stories to share with you today, so let's just jump into it. Our first story comes from user GullibleNose9502. I just got back from my friend's wedding in Mexico. It was a fancy, all-inclusive. Everyone mostly did their own thing with only a few group events planned, other than the wedding and the reception obviously. One of the group activities was dinner out on one of the restaurants that required a reservation. It was beautiful and the service was fantastic. One hiccup though, the best man did not want potatoes. He wasn't allergic, potatoes did not take his parents out in a dark alley, and he hasn't sworn to avenge them, as far as I know anyways. I speak Spanish, and after he asked me, I asked the waiter to please not serve him potatoes. Well, you know where this is going. He was maliciously served potatoes, and he would not shut up about it. He pointed it out to everyone at our table that he had been served a starchy tuber against his will. Other tables were watching him and listening to him getting upset about the potatoes. He ate the rest of his meal, but would not drop the potatoes. I couldn't take it anymore. I reached over and grabbed the potatoes with my hand and put them on my plate, and then I ate them. He just sat there stunned. Then he got up and went to his suite. He avoided me the rest of the time there, but made sure to tell everyone what an I was and how unladylike my behavior was. I just want him to shut the up about the potatoes. My friend wants me to apologize for causing drama. That sounds hilarious. What is going on with your friend group, bro? Because personally, I would burst out laughing seeing you reach across the table and just take this man's potatoes. I understand that it's not good etiquette to take somebody else's food off of their plate. Totally understand. I can see how that might be seen as rude or causing drama, but this man was pitching a fit about spuds, bro. He was pitching a fit and throwing a tantrum over potatoes. I think in this situation, her behavior balances with his, you know? If there's a little bit of equilibrium in that room. But to be honest, I wish this story was longer, because what is this man's deal with potatoes? Why does he have beef with one of the best vegetables on the planet? I don't understand. Feel free to make up stories in the comments as to why he's so afraid and terrified and perturbed and disturbed by potatoes. Our second story comes from user ThickPrince5341. My friend, let's call her Emily, is an amazing person. She's fun, adventurous, intelligent, super active, a fantastic cook, outgoing, and just a great girl to be around. A few years ago, she decided to not shave anymore. Legs, armpits, female areas out of protest to the patriarchy, resulting in her having a very long dark hair, well, everywhere. A few days ago, we were having beer and she told me how sad her dating life was. That she kept meeting guys and having very fun dates, but never got a call back, or when she tried asking for a second or third date, got rejected in a very generic manner. Now, after telling her, "You're so gorgeous and wonderful, the right man will come, don't worry," multiple times, I decided to go out on a limb and said something along the lines of, "I know this is a very superficial thing to say, but do you think it might help a little if you would shave?" She was very taken aback and told me that she was disappointed I would suggest she change her appearance for men and that I was the reason why so many women were suppressed. I immediately apologized, but the evening was pretty much ruined. I texted her the next day apologizing again for hurting her, but she hasn't replied. I really did not want to hurt her, but I also don't quite see how my comment was so bad, so I'm not sure how to phrase my apology. So I decided to take it here and ask people how big of an I am. You are not a terrible person, dude. You did not do anything wrong. You affirmed her feelings by saying that she was wonderful and beautiful, whatever, but also gave her a little bit of facts that not many people out there are interested in dating a werewolf. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that she has to shave, but if that's the decision that she wants to make with her body, there's going to be consequences when it comes to trying to date other people. And to immediately react negatively to that advice by saying, "Oh, I don't want to change myself for a man," is quite concerning, because change is necessary in order for you to date another person. Compromise is where you find connection, and it really seems like your friend does not understand that. So no, I do not think the original poster is an in this situation. They shouldn't have even apologized, to be honest. You didn't say anything wrong. You were trying to give your friend some valid advice, and your friend snapped at you by saying that you are responsible for the suppression of many women with just one statement, which is incredible. Congratulations, bro, you're a supervillain. But in all seriousness, you gave valid advice. To be honest, if I was in your situation, I wouldn't just end it with that sentence. I know that it would probably be difficult to get any more words out. She was upset with you, but I would also bring up the fact that maybe she should change the type of guy that she's into. She should probably make an effort to find men who align with her ideologies and worldview. She would have an easier time building a connection there, and most likely wouldn't have to compromise on her own beliefs and principles. But no, she chose to call you misogynistic, shout at you, and then storm out of your place. If she ever circles back and talks to you, bro, or attempts to apologize, I would just leave her on red. All right, you don't need to be friends with her. You don't have to be kind to her because she wasn't trying to hear your advice and she was willing to slander you. So find better people, man. Find better friends. Our third story comes from a throwaway account. So I, 24 female, am friends with Holly, 28 female, who's getting married next summer. Holly has always been a Disney girly, and I wasn't surprised when she told me and the other bridesmaids that she wanted us to dress as Disney princesses. Holly is going to wear a huge, glittery, glammed up ball gown, and will be in the dresses that are more of a modern take on princess dresses. But there will be a text on the invite stating which bridemaid is which princess and which groom is which prince. There are 5 of us, and she wants each of us in a different color. So she's chosen Ariel, pink, Cinderella, blue, Belle, yellow, Rapunzel, purple, and Tiana, green. She picked who would be who for us and told me that she wants me as Tiana since I have black hair. The problem is, I'm white. The entire bridal party is white. You can see why I'm not feeling this choice. I brought it up privately with Holly and tried to suggest alternatives for green, Merida from Brave or Anna from Frozen. But she shot them down. Merida's dress is actually blue and she has no prince, and she doesn't like Frozen. I told Holly that I will not be Tiana for her wedding and that I'm stepping down unless she accepts one of the alternatives or provides another. She called me a and a terrible friend and said nobody is going to care. I told her that I care and I'm not doing it. I've gotten some Facebook messages from some of her family and friends asking why I'm being so difficult and why I'm trying to ruin Holly's wedding. And even a couple of the bridesmaids have told me to just suck it up because I'm throwing Holly's plan out of whack. I'm standing my ground on this, but the pushback kind of has me wondering if I'm making something out of nothing. It's just a costume. I would understand your perspective if your friend gave you a can of shoe polish along with the green dress, but she didn't. She just wanted you to cosplay as Tiana for an evening. That's about it. Trust me, nobody would be offended, and you pitching a fit over nothing is tearing up your friend's plans. And I really disagree with your perspective because there's a lot of people who enjoy Disney princesses who are non-white. So should they not be able to cosplay as Cinderella or Rapunzel? That makes no sense. And I find it really interesting that you didn't put forward like Snow White. That would have put all of these problems to bed, but instead you chose to be difficult. And that's seriously not fair to your friend who's gone out of her way to plan an entire themed wedding. That's difficult to do. Be a team player and put on the green dress. Our fourth story comes from user Vegetable Pie 2168. This is messy. I, 40 male, have been married to my wife Cindy off and on. We had a child together who is now 17. We had a rocky part in our marriage and split for a few years, where I met a woman, Stacy. We were together for a while, having twins together, ages 12. Stacy and I split up because she ended up being unfaithful. 2 years later, I reconciled with Cindy. We got my twins every weekend due to our work schedules. This past weekend, my oldest daughter went into early labor. It was also my weekend with my twins. I told Stacy on the way to the hospital that I would not be able to have them this weekend due to this. I put my phone on silent and away due to a lot going on. When I returned to my phone, I had a bunch of texts from Stacy saying how I needed to go home and be with my twins and how Cindy could handle this situation. I told her absolutely not, that I wasn't missing the birth of my grandchild. She then responded angrily saying how I was picking my oldest daughter over my youngest and how wrong that was since they can only see me on the weekends anyways. I tried texting and calling multiple times throughout the weekend and getting no response. Stacy, in my opinion, needs to understand that his daughter, his oldest daughter, is having a sudden birth and somebody has to be there with her. And to make the claim that he's putting one child over the other is ridiculous in this situation. This is an emergency. Somebody has to be at the hospital. Now, I understand why Stacy would be upset. Somebody has to watch these kids. That was your turn. It was your weekend. Things happen, emergencies occur, and this dude isn't being neglectful. He isn't ignoring your kids that you share with him. He has to go to the hospital and take care of his oldest daughter. In my opinion, that was an incredibly unfair statement for her to make. But the majority opinion on Reddit disagrees with me. Many of the commenters think that he should have just called Cindy and had Cindy watch the child so that he could, have his weekend with his twins. But from what it seems like, he was the first person to arrive at the hospital and he just wanted to comfort his daughter. And in my book, there's nothing wrong with that. But hey, if you disagree or if you have your thoughts on this story, let me know in the comments down below, because this one's pretty contentious. The comments under the post were split 50-50, so I want to know what you guys think. Our final story comes from user Technician Fearless 56. My family has always had this tradition where the first child born after the loss of someone in the family gets the late family member's name as their middle name. My sister and I both have those middle names. Hers is Patricia, after a cousin of our mom's, and mine is Denise, after my dad's aunt. Almost a year ago, my sister lost her 2-day-old son, Philip. He was the last family member we lost, and it was huge, a earth-shattering blow for our family. I found out I was pregnant a few months ago. I waited a while to tell anyone, and my sister was the first person we told, privately. When I told her, she said it would be nice to have some positive news to focus on, and she wanted me to continue the tradition our family keeps and give my baby, if a boy, the middle name Philip. She was so happy about the idea, it surprised me a lot. I would have figured she would not be okay with it, but she wanted it. The problem is, my husband and I do not want to continue with the tradition. We don't want to give our son the middle name Philip. The name isn't one either of us likes or would ever pick for ourselves. We have not announced the sex of our baby yet, but my husband and I know that we're expecting a boy. My family were saying how amazing it would be if my baby is a boy and Philip's name can be carried on. I suggested they wait until we announce the sex and the name before jumping to conclusions. They asked why. I said we were thinking of not continuing with the tradition. My family, and by that I mean my parents mostly, were really upset. My sister was the worst though. She asked why I wouldn't honor Philip and why it was him the tradition was getting broken on. She asked if I saw him as meaning so little, and I said no, of course not. Then she asked if it was his name and we didn't like it. She said that she really hoped it wasn't that. I said we just didn't feel like the tradition was something we wanted to continue. The decision has brought up a lot of bad feelings, and my sister is especially angry and thinks I'm being insensitive and showing how little I care for my nephew. I feel terrible. She's so angry at me, and my parents are unhappy as well. My husband hates them for putting this pressure on us. He said we should be allowed to name our son what we want, and we should not be obligated to use a certain name. I never wanted to be an but my family believes I am. You are not an for wanting to name your child something that's significant to you and your husband. But, is the timing bad? Not only are you breaking the tradition with your sister's child, but your sister's deceased child. There's almost no way for that to not be taken as personal. Even if you don't mean it that way, it's going to be very difficult for you to repair that relationship. Now, don't get me wrong, it's terrible that your family's trying to manipulate you into changing your child's name so that your sister can feel good and your parents can feel affirmed that a tradition is being upheld. That's insanely crappy, and I definitely would not budge on those boundaries. But man, I have no idea how you're going to continue a relationship, a positive relationship with your family and your sister after this. I would say get used to, starting your own traditions with you and your husband and your baby boy. Because I'm getting the vibe that your parents and your sister are going to probably estrange themselves from you and not speak to you anymore. Is it fair? No, not at all. It's crappy, but most likely that's going to happen. But I want to know what you guys think about all of the stories that you've heard today. Let me know all of your opinions in the comments down below. I really enjoy seeing and reading what you guys think. It's truly my favorite part of doing the subreddit. So yeah, go ahead and have that intelligent conversation. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll catch you guys at the end. What's up everyone, it's your boy Ailurus, aka Panda Daddy, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, let me know in the comments down below, and leave a like if you liked the video. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe, fam. What you doing watching videos and not subscribing? And if you're old, make sure to hit that bell so you can get these notifications every time. It is finally spooky month, it is finally October, so I think personally, you guys are overdue for a little spooky marathon. Go ahead and tell me what type of content that you want me to cover during this month that you think is spooky in the comments down below. I am open to all requests. We need to make this month as scary and spooky as possible. And to be honest, I wouldn't be able to do that without my Patreon supporters, so a big thank you to Zenith2A, Mr. Sandman, Mike, Sleepy Dragon, Power Lover, Sherry Morrison, Tron Destroy 23, Fitch Chivalry, Code Connor Purvis, S16, Squish, Rare Days, Mr. Bean, My Golden Experience, James Tucker, BMX30, Cinnamon Sticks, Scott, The Fake Musician, Buckethead, Samantha Bellhart, Admin Faneker, Bloody Hunter, Keely, Dundernats Hawk, and Noah. Thank you so much for your support. It is greatly appreciated. And if you want to help support the channel, there's 2 links in the description, one to my merch store and one to my Patreon. Both funds go directly into the channel so we can maintain what's happening here. And as always, stay zesty.